Hello dear students. From today onwards, we are going to start a new chapter under our zoology NEET session. Yes, I am talking about zoology NEET session, that is breathing and exchange of gases. One more thing, according to the new timetable, I am having 2 lectures of 1 hour each. For botany 1 lecture, botany NEET 1 lecture and zoology NEET 1 lecture. But what I have thought that I will do one thing. For suppose today I have started zoology NEET chapter breathing and exchange of gases. So I will continue it up till I will finish this chapter, and then next time I will start with botany chapter, because as there is one lecture, it will be a kind of jumbling and mixing up of the topics. So I will do one thing as soon as possible with a thorough explanation. First I will complete the zoology topic breathing and exchange of gases, and then I will start respiration in plants under NEET botany lectures. Okay students, I hope you understood what I said. Now here, this is one of the important human physiology related NEET chapter. As I told you, which chapters are the most important to study under NEET? Human physiology chapters. That means the chapters which explains about our body systems and their functions. Students, up till now, we have completed the topics under human physiology under zoology NEET. They are excretion and osmoregulation, digestion and absorption of the food, circulation and the body fluids and their circulation, and the fourth one we will start, that is breathing and exchange of gases. Okay, so here directly before going breathing and exchange of gases, in the previous 2 chapters, I said previous 2 chapters, the first chapter we studied about the digestive system, that is digestion of the food, its absorption and assimilation into the throughout the body, and this assimilation, that is transportation of absorbed digested food to all the body cells, takes place with the help of the process called circulation. So what did we study mainly in these 2 systems? In digestion and absorption of body fluids, that chapter we studied about the human digestive system, where the macromolecules present in the food are broken down into micromolecules, which are in simple absorbable forms by the blood. Once these micromolecules are absorbed by the circulating fluid, that is blood, with the help of blood, these macromolecules are transported to each and every body cells. Right? Once these micromolecules, which we called as organic molecules, like glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, right? These organic molecules, when reaches to the body cell, means when these organic molecules via blood are transported to each and every body cell, there these organic molecules gets catabolized. What is catabolism? Metabolism and anabolism. Metabolism means breaking down of the product. Anabolism means using those broken products, that is using those simple micro organic molecules to release energy. But is it done directly with the help of molecules only, or do we need oxygen to get more energy? Now when we need less energy, oxygen is not as such required. But in case of higher animals like us or many other higher animals are there, in them their bodily energy requirements are more. So the energy production needs to be more in the process of getting oxygen. That is why there is one more system, that is breathing and exchange of gases system, that is respiratory system, we are going to study in this chapter in detail. If you have seen all these body systems, not only these, अब ये सब respiration process होगा, catabolism, metabolism सब हो जाएगा, waste भी produce होगा. That waste also has to be excreted or eliminated from the body with the help of excretory system. So fourth one, excretory system, which we have already studied. And all the systems are controlled and coordinated with the help of nervous system, जो भी हम regular lecture में पढ़ रहे हैं. समझ में आ रहा है? So human physiology means studying the different body systems and their functions actually helps us to understand how is the perfect control and coordination is maintained in all the body processes. समझे? So students, in this chapter we are going to study about breathing and exchange of gases, mainly about the respiratory system and the process of respiration. What is respiration? Is it breathing? Commonly, the common people who have not studied in detail about it, right? If you will ask them what is respiration, they'll say breathing. But actually, breathing is one of the phase, one of the step of respiration. Respiration means actually process of release of energy. Okay. Now, students, we have studied the respiration is of two types: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. We will not go in much detail about it because we have already studied it in our regular lectures. In short, it is the process of breaking of organic molecules, that means catabolism, that is release of energy from the organic molecules in absence of oxygen, where energy produced is also less. The byproducts, very sorry, यहाँ पे I will just make here anaerobic, and here I will make it aerobic. Okay, so might be you also have understood when I was teaching. So anaerobic respiration is the process of catabolism of the organic molecules which are taken from the digestion process and circulation process in the absence of oxygen, where energy produced is less, and the byproducts formed are either ethanol and CO2 or lactic acid, which is also called as lactate. Okay. Now, here it is performed by the organisms like yeast, bacteria, and human muscles under certain conditions. Muscles actually perform aerobic respiration in other way. But when we are doing vigorous activities, extra activities, as the blood supply to the muscles is less as compared to the central body part, so that time due to lack of oxygen, they start producing energy anaerobic. So under certain conditions only the muscles perform anaerobic respiration. So a simple equation with respect to the production of ethanol and CO2 in case of yeast cell. Let me write the equation for anaerobic respiration. The organic molecules such as glucose C6H12O6 in the absence of oxygen is catabolized, is broken down into carbon dioxide and ethanol. 2 to the 4 plus 2 6, balanced equation. So here the glucose is broken down into carbon dioxide and ethanol with release of 2 ATP molecules. Now what is this ATP molecule? Energy currency. How is it formed? Actually, during this process, energy is released. What is released? Energy. But this energy is used by ADP, that is adenosine diphosphate, and PI, that is inorganic phosphorus. So adenosine diphosphate and inorganic phosphorus uses this energy to form a bond between them. Diphosphate में एक और phosphorus आ गया तो triphosphate बन गया to form ATP. Now this ADP and inorganic phosphorus are already present in the mitochondria of the cell, in the matrix of the mitochondria. क्योंकि ये जो process है, यहाँ पे ADP and PI are present in the cytoplasm of the cell. When we are talking about aerobic respiration, ADP and PI are present in the cytoplasm of the matrix of the mitochondria to bind them to form ATP. Okay, so ADP and PI are already present in our cells. By using the energy through the process of respiration, anaerobic or aerobic, whatever, this energy is used to form the bond between ADP and PI to produce ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. Let us talk about aerobic respiration. Here it is done in the presence of oxygen, where energy produced is more. I forgot to tell here. So here, as I said, energy produced is very less. Means very less energy is available for the bonding of ADP and PI. Hence, only 2 ATP molecules are formed here by using this energy. Means only 2 ADP and 2 PI can bind with each other to produce 2 ATP. इतना कम energy यहाँ पे produce होता है. But in case of aerobic respiration, the energy produced is more to produce 36 ATP. Actually 38 ATP है, but 2 ATPs are used for the cell process. वो हम Krebs cycle जब बॉटनी में हम रेस्पिरेशन इन प्लांट्स पढ़ेंगे, दैट टाइम विल अंडरस्टूड 38 में से 2 एटीपी कहाँ पे यूज होंगे. ओके, 36 एटीपी. Here the byproducts produced are simply carbon dioxide and water, and it is performed in almost higher animals like aves, mammals, whose energy requirements are more. Now let us write the equation for this. Glucose in presence of oxygen and water as well. Okay, glucose in presence of oxygen and by utilizing water undergoes the process of aerobic respiration, that is catabolism, to produce the byproducts carbon dioxide and water with a release of high amount of energy. Same process to produce 36 ATP molecules. Actually 38, 2 are utilized. Okay. Sorry students. Understood? So these are the processes of aerobic respiration and anaerobic. Anaerobic respiration and aerobic respiration. Actually, more specifically we should call it as anaerobic cellular respiration and aerobic cellular respiration. Why should we call it as cellular respiration? Because this entire process takes place inside the cell's cytoplasm or cell's organelle. Samjhe? Okay. So, before studying the process of respiration in detail, the process of energy production in detail, we need to know about the respiratory organs, because of the respiratory organs only oxygen can be taken in, and then the aerobic cellular respiration can be performed. Understood? So पहले हम study करेंगे respiratory organs in animals. So students, here is a brief of respiratory organs present in different kinds of animals. Before studying the respiratory organs, let me tell you that the type of respiratory organ present in the animal body depends on two factors. First is the level of organization of that animal, and second is its habitat, means the place where it lives. Simply, we are terrestrial, so in us the respiratory organ is lungs. Fishes are aquatic, so in them the respiratory organs are gills. So on the basis of habitat, whether we are air breathing animals or we are water breathing animals, so on the basis of habitat, the type of respiratory organ is present. Then again, like us, some other animals are also terrestrial, like insects, like cockroach is terrestrial, but still in cockroaches lungs are not there, in them tracheal system is there. So on the basis of level of organization, see, our body is made up of billions of trillions of cells. Cockroach body is made up of few cells. So very few cells of the body of the cockroach can come in direct contact with the outer environment, with the external environment, for direct exchange of respiratory gases. So on the basis of level of organization, means how complex or how simple is the body, and on the basis of the habitat, means the place where we live, the type of respiratory organs are found in different types of animals. So the first type of respiratory organ actually is the entire body surface of the animal. See, the lower invertebrate animals such as sponges, coelentrates, flatworms, etc., their body organization is very simple. Means they don't have organ systems. They just have cellular body, or the body is made up of tissues. So the entire body surface is in direct contact with the external environment, and that is why just by simple diffusion, just by the process of simple diffusion, they take in oxygen and give away the carbon dioxide through the entire surface of the body. So we have studied in sponges, they take in water, from the water they absorb the dissolved oxygen, and from the body cell the carbon dioxide goes into the water, and water is thrown back out of the pores of the body, right? So In lower invertebrates, as the body complexity is very, very simple, through their entire body surface by the process of simple diffusion, they do the exchange of gases. Now, the next is, in case of some animals like earthworm and amphibians, they make use of their skin. Here I should mention moist skin. When the skin is moist, the exchange or the diffusion of gases, respiratory gases, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide, becomes very easy. Okay. Now, in the animals like earthworm and amphibians, through their moist skin, they perform the exchange of gases. But why and how? See, earthworm ho ya amphibians ho, they also have a circulatory system. The dense network of capillaries present under their skin. I mean, suppose this is the earthworm. This is its circulatory system, which is having blood. From the circulatory system, the dense network of capillaries is in contact with the skin. So through skin, oxygen is taken, which is taken up by the blood, circulated in the body, and the carbon dioxide is in turn given out. So due to the dense network of capillaries in the skin, the circulatory system is involved here for the exchange of respiratory gases through the moist skin. Understood? Next is, now this we all spoke about the lower animals, the lower metazoans, right? But in case of higher animals, the body complexity is of very higher level. The body is complexly arranged. So the surface of the body, the entire surface of the body cannot come in direct contact of the atmospheric oxygen. So for the exchange of gases, only diffusion method is not suitable. And that is why their body develops certain special organs. They are called as respiratory organs. They might be, the respiratory organs present in this complexly designed animal body might be extensively folded organs such as gills. Gills are folds. Or they are branched, for example, tracheal system. Or they might be divided into number of small sacs, that is lungs, having alveoli. Samjhe? So the respiratory organs might be extensively folded or divided into branches or divided into small sacs called as alveoli. Here, let me give you example of human body. If by the process of diffusion means the oxygen will move from higher level of concentration of the cell to the lower level. In turn, carbon dioxide will move from higher level of body cells to the lungs where it is lower level. Agar by the process of diffusion from the lungs, the oxygen has to reach to the toe. Toe means पायांची बोट, okay? वहाँ तक अगर reach करना है, it will simply take only 3 and 3.5 of years. 3 या 3.5 साल लगेंगे एक सेल से दूसरा, दूसरे से तीसरा, तीसरे से चौथा. Means 1 to 1 cell to cell अगर diffusion होना है, because our body is made up of billions of cells. Are you getting that? Hence, by the process of diffusion, it will be impossible for the quick exchange of respiratory gases. Hence, we are evolved with complex designs, that is respiratory organs. Let us study these respiratory organs, which are of 3 types, one by one. The first type of respiratory organ given here is gills. Gills are the respiratory organs which are present in the animals which are water breathing animals. What are water breathing animals? Means they take in oxygen from the dissolved water, dissolved oxygen from the water. Here the gills are mainly of 2 types, external gills and internal gills. Let me tell you first of all, external gills are present in some invertebrates and some larval amphibians. Amphibians, when are in larval stage, they breathe through gills. Which gills? External gills. And internal gills are found in the fishes, in the pharyngeal gill slits. What is that now? Suppose this is the larva of the frog. External gills are the outward foldings. Are you getting that? Which remain suspended in water. So these outward foldings, which are called as external gills, when are suspended in water, from the water they absorb dissolved oxygen, and from the body they give out the carbon dioxide, which again goes and dissolves in water. Understood? So these are external gills. Whereas internal gills, fishes have here small openings on both the sides, okay, which are called pharyngeal gill slits, small openings. and inside that gill slit, I'll just magnify one gill slit, gills are present. So these are internal gills. So internal gills are present in the pharyngeal gill slits of the fishes. From the mouth, fish takes in water. That water is force passed through these internal gills of the pharyngeal gill slits. Here, the gills acts as a filter. The internal gills acts as a filter. Filter means they will force out the water, but they will uptake the oxygen dissolved in water. In turn, when they are pass forcing the water, carbon dioxide also goes along with them. Samjhe? Okay. So gills are mainly of two types, external gills and internal gills. Other than that, aquatic arthropods and mollusks also breathe through gills. Lastly, the echinoderms such as starfish has dermal branchiae, which are nothing but skin gills, which are also called as papillae. These are nothing but on their body surface, the projections are there of the gills, which are called as dermal branchiae or skin gills or papillae. Through those gills, through those skin gills or papillae, the starfish, that is echinoderms, perform the exchange of respiratory gases. Understood? So this is all about the first respiratory organ in case of higher animals. In case of lower animals, they use the moist skin or the entire body surface. But in case of higher animals, the first respiratory organ is gills. Understood? Next is tracheal system. It is found in the insects. We have studied in cockroach very well. On the lateral sides of the body wall, the insects have minute holes. They are called spiracles or spiracles. Suppose ये cockroach body है, यहाँ पे minute holes on both the sides, lateral sides of the body. So this is one spiracle. The spiracle give rise to largest tube-like structure, which is called tracheae. What it is called? Tracheae. The tracheae then divides into fine branches called as tracheoles. Called as tracheoles. मतलब spiracles यहाँ से निकले, tracheoles and all that. In the way, from both the sides, they are directly in contact with the body cells. So from the body cells, carbon dioxide will be taken. From tracheoles, it will go to tracheae. From tracheae, it will come to spiracle, and from spiracle, it will be given out. On the other hand, from spiracle, oxygen will move into tracheae, tracheae to tracheoles, tracheoles to body cells. Means insects have this tracheal system. That is why without the involvement of circulatory system, the exchange of gases takes place. यहाँ पे blood has no role. We know that insects' blood is colorless. That is called hemolymph. Your blood has no role in the exchange of gases directly with the help of tracheal system, because the terminals of the tracheal system, that is tracheoles, are directly in contact with the body cells. Understood, students? Okay. But here, let me mention the insects like spider and scorpion. The insects like spider and scorpion, exceptionally, instead of having tracheal system, they have book lungs. What do they have? Book lungs. I have told you when I have taught you in the previous standard. Book lungs means the lungs having extensively folded structures like the pages of the book. Okay. So this is that. And now we will talk about the very last point under respiratory organs in animals, and that organ, that respiratory organ which is found in highly evolved animals having high demand of energy requirement, that organ is lungs. Now lungs are present in air breathing mammals. Okay, first of all, those mammals who are air breathing, who are terrestrial, they show the presence of lungs. Here, the lungs are found in the tetrapods. We have studied animal classification. Okay, tetrapods means animals having paired limbs, forelimbs and hind limbs, except reptiles. But still they have it. Some fishes also shows the presence of lungs. We have studied the type of connecting link of the fish, that is lungfish. And some snails also shows the presence of snails. So, tetrapods Who are tetrapods? Amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals. These four are tetrapods. They all show the presence of lungs. Let me tell you one thing. Lungs arise from lungs of the tetrapods. Tetrapods मतलब amphibian, reptile, aves and mammals. ये चारों tetrapods है. इन चारों के जो lungs है, they arise from pharynx. Remember this. NEET MCQ में आता है ये question. So lungs arise from pharynx in case of tetrapods. Remember that. Now, the lungs of the amphibians. The lungs of the amphibians are paired. Obviously, किसी में भी lungs हो, lungs are always the paired structures. Okay, but the lungs of the amphibians are paired, simple, balloon-like, and lack extensive surface area or large surface area for the exchange of gases. मतलब human lungs is a paired organ, but it has an extensive large surface area for the exchange of gases. Means number of alveoli in the human lungs are more. But in case of amphibians, they lack the extensively large surface area for the exchange of gas because the amphibians in the adult stage, rather than depending on the pulmonary respiration means breathing through lungs, they are not dependent on pulmonary breathing. They are actually dependent on cutaneous breathing or cutaneous respiration. That is exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide through moist skin. Yes, larval amphibians are dependent on the gills, whereas adult amphibians are minorly dependent on the lungs, but majority they are dependent on skin because throughout their lifespan only in rainy season they come out of their habitats. Other times they are either estivated or hibernated, means buried under the soil during summer sleep or winter sleep. Okay students, so this is all about the types of respiratory organs in animals. Now immediately I will continue with the topic, that is human respiratory system, because obviously we are going to study more about the human physiology here. So, let us study human respiratory system. It begins with what, students? Yes, we all know. Okay, now let us talk about human respiratory system. The first organ is nose. Second is pharynx. Third is larynx. Then a windpipe, that is trachea, which divides into two branches, left branch and right branch, called as bronchus. Singular is bronchus. If you talk both together, that is bronchi, which opens into paired structures, that is lungs. Yes. Now here, The human respiratory system is divided into two parts. Upper respiratory tract and lower respiratory tract. Okay, students. So which are the parts of, this is the entire human respiratory system. Which parts comes under upper respiratory tract? Just think. Nose, pharynx and associated structures. Now what are associated structures? Soon you will understand when we will study pharynx. Pharynx जब हम पढ़ेंगे, that time you will understand which are the associated structures which forms the upper respiratory tract. So the upper respiratory tract includes nose, pharynx and associated structures. इसके अराउंड भी कुछ structures हम पढ़ेंगे. जैसे कि यहाँ पे ह्यूमन ईयर है, राइट? ईयर से एक ट्यूब आता है that opens into pharynx, that is called eustachian tube. Eustachian tube. समझे? तो ये associated structures. Got it? Now the remaining structure, that is larynx, trachea, bronchus and lungs, forms the part of lower respiratory tract. Students, we didn't stop here. We have studied it. Each bronchus, after entering into lungs, divides into further branches. Primary bronchioles, secondary bronchioles and tertiary bronchioles. So each bronchus divides into bronchioles. Primary, secondary and tertiary bronchioles. Tertiary bronchioles then give rise to hair-like structures called as terminals, which opens into sac-like structures called as alveolar sac. And each sac then consists of bunch of grape-like structures called as alveoli, which gives the large surface area, which provides the large surface area for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the body and the atmospheric air. It is atmospheric oxygen. That is the process of breathing is possible because of the alveoli, and other all help in it. Understood? So, when we will study in detail about human respiratory system, first we will study the upper respiratory tract and then we will talk about the lower respiratory tract. Okay students, let us start with upper respiratory tract. We will talk about nose. Just a sec. So students, when we talk about the nose, is it having the opening called nostril? Pair of nostrils, which are called as external nares, which are in pair. अब side angle से दिखा है तो एक ही दिखेगा. Front angle से when you'll see. समझ में? So these are the pair of external openings of the nose called as nostrils or external nares. Now, the region internally of the external nares, just यहाँ पे जो region है, that region is called vestibule. Remember, this one is nostril, that is external nare, and the just region inside it, उसके अंदर का थोड़ा इतने region का skin, जहाँ पे थोड़ा सा swollen होता है, सिर्फ इतने रीजन का स्किन इज वेस्टिब्यूल. दिस वेस्टिब्यूल इज इंटरनली लाइंड विथ हेयर, फाइन हेयर. दिस फाइन हेयर आर नोन एज vibraceae. Okay, So we have just done the beginning about the nose. It has two openings externally called as nostrils or external nares. The anterior region of the nostril is called vestibule. आगे वाला anterior, पीछे वाला posterior. Okay, anterior, posterior. Okay, anterior region of the external nares is called vestibule, which is internally lined with fine hair called as vibrissae to trap the dust whenever we inhale the air. Now, the nose is medially separated by nasal septum, which is made up of a cartilage, and divides the nose internally into nasal passage or nasal cavity or nasal chamber. So nasal chamber is divided into two parts, right and left. समझ में आ रहा है? Okay. Here, the nasal septum or nasal passage or nasal cavity or the chamber. I will show here now. This is the mouth. This is the nasal cavity. Upper hard palate. You know the upper region of the oral cavity, that is the ceiling of the oral cavity is called palate, which is hard. The hard palate forms the floor of the nasal cavity. ये है nasal cavity. उसका जो floor है, it is formed by the hard palate. Getting that? So floor of the nasal cavity is made up of hard palate. Then this nasal cavity internally again opens into two openings called as internal nares, and internal nares then opens into pharynx. But the remaining topic, students, we will study in the next lecture. Today I will stop here. Don't write the notes from the video. I will send you the notes maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Please give me some time. So you will get the notes. No need to write it. Just go through the topics and study it timely. You can make your own short notes after watching the video. Thank you.